Wait, how the fuck did you find out about that? Wait,
We got our Nardwar moment of the episode.
Oh, that's
Thank
crazy.
you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
And I didn't even realize myself how many people came from that moment, bro. Like my followers, bro, they're constantly going up. Like you don't need a label or funding from a label till you actually have built a plateau
and things that you actually need money for.
Things you need actual money for. People knowing the songs in the crowd.
Yeah.
And come up and be like, bro, it's my favorite song. Like, of course, bro, I'm coming back to the studio. Like, we're doing more of that. You know what I mean? But this ain't for fucking play, son. Like, this ain't no kitty nat whack works. Like, we're not here, on some flagrant shit. Like, this shit real life mode. Like, for me, niggas don't play with this shit for me. So it's like, you have those moments where it's you feeling it and like that shit is just channeling. So that's everything you're holding accountable, right? And
welcome to the Sound Centric Podcast. I am your host, Adam Dash, and today I'm joined by a man at guard out of Washington Heights. He's got a new tape with one of the greatest hip-hop producers of all time, playing Pat. What up? He's got a new song, I Owe It With You, with Coda the Friend and CJ Fly, some of them blog era legends, coming out on February 4th.
Yes, sir.
LifeofThom.
Yo.
Welcome to the show.
What up? My dog. Thank you.
You guys might not be able to tell, but he's actually in 4 places right now. He's at 4 other music industry events.
This is clone number 6 for the day. I got the other ones, one's in the studio, one's in a marketing meeting, one's probably headed on to the Grammys right now. I'm just letting y'all know, what I mean? Like, we here. It's the word, man.
Cole said all jokes contain true shit, and that's always in your comment section, people being like, you're everywhere.
Hey, man, it's I think it's just a part of the job. I think it's just what comes with when you have a really big drive and you feel accelerated forward every day because of that drive. You're gonna be everywhere.
Yeah. So we were just talking before this about LaRussell. He posted like a cool thing about showing his whole schedule for the month. That man has made his own thing in the West Coast with like his residency type concerts where it's full community building.
It's insane.
And I feel like you probably have something similar in terms of just like every day.
Bro, literally, do you want to see the calendar?
Yeah, let's see the calendar.
This is the calendar.
Oh, okay, it's similar looking. It's every single hour on the hour.
Yeah. We're just taking advantage like from meetings, shoots, studio, work on this loops, call that guy, call my lawyer, this, that, and the third, studio with this guy, interview.
Yeah.
Well, I even got our shit right here.
There we go. It's locked in.
I think it's important as a human to have organization and a place where you can log, your day-to-day activities, and it just helps you stay on time for things, helps you be on point, and furthermore, just gain more clarity on what's the next steps.
Yeah, I feel like the classic thing for like people in general, not just music, is like being an entrepreneur sounds so cool because like I can make my own hours.
Yeah.
Not realizing it's even harder because there's no one telling you what to do.
Yeah.
You could have woken up today and just been like, it's gonna be an off day today.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think we're also, it's because of how we're grown up, going through institutions, and it's just the conditionings of just life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're growing up with somebody having to answer to someone or someone telling you what to do, and then you're at a certain age where it's like, oh, I'm kind of like on my own schedule, and I think for me, I've someone I've been in and out of jobs, part-times, I've done my own freelancing, and now just committing to things 100%. I think it's just understanding where consistency comes, like a landscape of abundant choices that you can like really make. It's just about knowing what's the right, not that there's right or wrong, but knowing what are those choices. You know?
I think one of the most important things just like making a community is FOMO and having people fear missing out. And I felt like when I was growing up, seeing the blog era and seeing the pro era and the type of stuff that must have been going on in New York State at that time.
Bro, what?
And I think you and like the squad of coming up rappers right now within New York are doing that now. Because like you guys are all commenting, like it's people see that friend group, like that Brockhampton type shit, and they're like, fuck, where do I do that in my city? How do I do that?
Yeah.
How does that like feel for you guys? You, Sco, Chris, all these.
Man. Yeah, no, it's I sometimes I have to, kind of like pinch myself a little bit and be like, yo, like we here now, we in the circuit. I remember one time I was like talking to like Mavi, like on set, like for the shit he was having, Sco was having his video shoot, and like, walking from one scene to the other, I was shopping with Mav about it, and he was like telling me like, yo, like this, like you in the circuit now, you know what I mean? And like
it feels real.
Having those, those were like early combos, you know what I mean? And I would talk to some some of the guys, you know what I mean, Cast and Anna Mox, me, Nico, Fergie, Skull, and just we really be like, yo, this is the new, what I mean, we the new forefront of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just when speaking about it helps us realize like we are the new guards, the new vanguards, and doing joints with OGs like Plain Pat, Skull running his new run with Static, what I mean, Fergie with ASAP Ferg, and etc. I mean, it's important because this is what helps establish the new set of like guys really doing their thing with the older vanguards kind of laying that the foundation they've laid and what we carrying. But yeah, man, it feels great. At the end of the day, this is like we've dreamt of these days, the hard work, and furthermore, that will come. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're making like what everyone wants to do when they're little, like studying the rap videos and going to Rap Genius into reality.
Bro, bro. When you critically look at those things and the granular perspectives, it's like, wow, like what I mean, I'm on my way here, bro. Like someone's just like, yo, like you're Thom. I was like, yeah. I'm like, Thom, what up?
It's
like,
sick.
Oh, I was looking at you at the train. I didn't assume you're going somewhere. I'm
like,
yeah. Have a good day. You know what I mean?
And like you were rapping on Cast Beats when you were 14, and like how's that feel now being like boys with him?
I mean, oh man, like it's funny because that. Wait, how the fuck did you find out about that? Wait, we
got our Nardwar moment of the episode.
Oh, that's crazy.
Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week.
That's insane. No. I did post that on the CF, so someone definitely leaked that information. That, I mean, the thing is, when we was like 14, 15, 16, like motherfuckers was on, I know for me, I was on SoundCloud listening to like the Mind Signs, the Swums, the J-Robs, Monty Bookers, the Knowledge, the Tech Looms.
Monte's a crazy person.
The Overcast, the Deafies, you know what I mean? Like the deep core, the Ab Joes, selections. And I remember, it was like 2015. Yeah, I like found that beat. And this was when like you could get away still with ripping off like SoundCloud beat links and like putting it up, and like your shit was going up. Now you and that producer are probably building like a relationship together. It was like fire.
When you're starting up, YouTube to MP3 is your best friend.
Bro, that was like the best conversion tool that ever existed.
Yeah, with all respect to Stoic. I mean, I interviewed him. I've taken beats. Bro, they're not out though, so I didn't use them.
No, there's so many, bro. Shouts to that guy, man. YouTube fucking legend, son. And just overall great producer. Great friend. I think now being connected with guys, like Cast, after one of the first rap songs I put out as a music video was, a joint produced by Overcast, and we didn't know each other. Once again, it was just that time. It was just, what the time was. And I didn't realize this whole time Brody was doing his thing. And, once we connected at that Irving Plaza show, it was raps. That's the homie, and it feels great. It's just when it's real life shit, bro. It's real life. What we do is real life. Like, this ain't no internet shit. Like, it's real life. So I think just knowing that on top of it makes it, the stamp just way more harder.
To that point, and I'm asking this question personally for myself and to anybody that's in New York who's trying to get like more into the hip hop scene.
Yeah.
Where do we go? How do we go? Because in like post COVID, like in real life events are what people want to do. Like I worked at home, lived at home for 2 years. Like people want to be out of the house at night. They want to be going to things.
Yeah, I'd say, just like you stay in tune with stuff. You know what I mean? Like say like like it's cool. Like Nala Simone be doing this event called The Echo, right, at Hidden Tiger with Static and Ninth. And it's dope because it's like a once a month thing, and it's cool.
Where's that at?
It's at Hidden Tiger. This is sick.
Okay.
Super cool low key bar right there in the lower. And that's like one example. You know what I mean? And you're having all sorts of cats from in town, coming through, and that's also just a prolific.
She's doing a J. Cole fall off listening party,
stuff like
which
that,
is full, which I'm pissed about. That's awesome. It's a sick ass event. Like people want to come together in community and
that's what I'm saying.
Do that stuff.
Like that's fire. You know what I mean? Like even stuff like Annabelle host. You know what I mean? Even when in the past when she's done like the open mics, and like all the communities, or like the event we met at last year. I think stuff like that, and in general, just events people are just doing. I think if if you're following these people, there's other like things the algorithm shuffles in a way. So that's where you'll catch IRL activations and shit.
Yeah, and one of your biggest moments the past year, the guy with the piano rapping for, the new mayor, Zoran Mamdani.
Mamdani, bro.
How does that actually happen? Like, did you know that you'd be the one rapping to him?
Nah, bro. Like that was not premeditated or nothing. Respectfully, like,
because that guy's insane. Like the guy who makes the beats.
Dude, I remember.
I love his videos.
I did get a call. Like someone was like, "Yo, bro, like you should go to Washington Square at this time today."
Yeah.
And I didn't understand what this person was implying. I was like, all right, word. It's probably like an opportunity or something there. But, I remember I was just coming off a shoot in Brooklyn. And then, I took a Uber right over there. And, like, some lady comes up to me randomly. And she's like, okay, yes. And I was like, whoa. What the fuck is going on? And then Ari, he has his piano there. He's walking around with those set up. And as soon as there's this other cat singing, I can't remember his name, though. As soon as I start rapping, the mayor fucking just pulls up right there. And I'm just like, what the fuck? It was fire because like, I'm talking about like, drugs, chains. I'm talking about, like.
Oh, he's a New Yorker. He's probably playing Jada Kiss growing up.
You know what I mean? Exactly, bro. So it's like, he's just there smiling, when it's
his big ass smile,
it's mad funny. And then we're like dapping each other, bro. We're fist bumping each other, and it's like, yo, fuck yeah, like, like, let's go. And then to see that he actually stuck around and like for all the bars, I was just like, yo, this guy's fucking cool as hell. Shout out Zoran Mamdani, man, as they say, Thom Donnie.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. Hey man, we got two.
Get the merch going.
But we got two mayors in town. Stop playing. Yeah.
So when you have a moment like that actually goes viral, like does very well, in your mind, next day, how are you leveraging that?
I mean, it's okay. This is the thing. When those moments come, it's not for you to just be like, woo, hooray. Like, no, you have to leverage that. You need to incentivize on it. More importantly, it's everything you're going to, you're going to just compartmentalize into just data, analytics. I think all that's perfect opportunity, for conversations you're having, on the corporate to, whether it's, something you're in with a label or you just put out a project and, you guys are looking for more visibility, once the thing, when those viral moments happen, bro, it's really here for you to take advantage of. And, although they're for a moment, it's also something to say like, I'm grateful for and thankful for, but, you want to work that. And I remember when we were having like, like meetings with like our partner and shit, like after like, one of them was funny in one of the meetings. They were like, "Yeah, it would really be dope for this if like something went viral here." And I remember that was like a month before that happened, and it was cool because it was like by the nature of how it worked, it happened.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize myself how many people came from that moment, bro. Like my followers.
So you noticed that,
bro? They're constantly going up. Like it's like I have an auto-generated. Like I can't even, I wouldn't say bot, but like it's like I cracked the algorithm. I'm just in that sleeve, and then on top of that, a lot of that engagement converted. That moment converted to more engagement where like now it made real fans. Like, bro, I have all these comments on like my YouTube videos of like the past 2-3 months of like, yo, like what the fuck? Like I'm so glad like this guy like was the one, and it's that's what you do though. You know what I mean? You leverage it. You don't leverage it, you're just doing some goofy shit, Yeah,
you can it's not worth it just putting in a frame poster like Mr. Krabs or like his first dollar and just put it on the side.
I'm saying, you know what I mean? But yeah, to each his own.
And you talked about so far multiple people that you've referred to as your team. I think artists are always curious, first off, who's the first person I'm getting on that team and why do I actually need them versus just the perception of saying like I have a manager just for the sake of saying it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is. I always love answering this question. You never need you don't need nobody till like it's too much. You know what I mean? Like you don't need a manager until like there's actual things you need someone else to help manage. You don't need a day-to-day till you've actually figured out your foundation and what it looks like on a day-to-day with the workload that you have day-to-day. You don't need, you don't need a label or, funding from a label till you actually have built, a plateau
and things that you actually need money for.
Things you need actual money for, cool. The looks of it all and the title of it might feel great and all that, but hey, pinch a grain of salt, buddy. Like, it's not how it works. And if you want to create a real sustainable business, because this is all what a business, a game of business, respectfully, you know, you want to have a very strong foundation. So I think for me, like, I to be honest, I didn't really have a team formed up until like damn near like spring, like almost summer, this past summer.
And what was the first piece?
It was having a solid friendship and a foundation with someone over the last 5 to 6 years. Definitely just want to shout out my boy Jordan Milberg. You know what I mean? I've been working with that guy for so long. He's a legend. And he, you know what I mean? I think that was the thing that then created the different, you know, arms in, you know, what make a team. And that's honestly just knowing as an artist you need protection, and it takes a village, bro. So you know, but yeah, that's it right there.
Also, as someone in law school hoping to be a lawyer for musicians like yourself, and you mentioned that you got a lawyer. When did he come into, he or she come into play?
No, shout out my boy, man. It's crazy because this guy, I've known this guy for years when I was grinding. I've been doing this shit for years, man. There was this music tech app, and they used to throw like these like weekly events, and they had like partnerships with like Island and like, you know, different liquor sponsors. So they bring in all these like fancy schmancy people on like the corporate side. And shout out my lawyer. Nate, man, he's the fucking guy. You know what I mean? Does great work.
Nate, if you're looking for a summer intern, I would love to. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you.
No, you need someone to, you know, overlook, you know, through the paper and like see like, you know, what's good, you know what I mean, and make sure like, you know, it's done correctly.
And then the next step, artists all want to perform, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think people necessarily know how to. I know you were starting at the cafe doing like the open mics.
Yeah.
But actually getting to a point where you're opening for Conway the Machine, you're opening for IDK, you're opening for Taylor Bennett. Like, man. People that, like, I personally grew up with. Taylor Bennett was my first interview when I was in high school, when I was 14 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But how do those opportunities actually come about?
It's just the nature, bro. It's life. I mean, when I opened up, you know, that's the thing. When I was like opening up for like Taylor and like IDK, like, I was like, you know what I mean? That was years ago, you know what I mean? And that just happened to me just being around. You know what I mean? I wasn't the guy that their agents are like, book Thom, you know what I mean? There's no motion then, you know what I mean? I was just the kid that just like,
around. Was it the venue reaching out because they needed more openers to like sell tickets, or was it?
It was more so a personal relationship. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This, you know, the people I was working with back then, you know, they were booking, you know, they were doing activations at like things like a South by Southwest, you know, or helping, you know, Taylor around, you know, something like a New York activation. And, you know what I mean? It was just easy to slot me in. And I think it's no different now. Even when you have something like an agent, you know, a lot of this game works off favors, and it works off
this coffee machine is deciding to talk in the middle of this.
He said, yo, shot, I might need some coffee.
Yeah, I got
ain't gonna lie. No, but you know, all of it's all just based off, you know, who you're talking to, proximity, all that. And I mean, even opening up for someone like Conway, like that was really weird.
Did you get to meet him?
Yeah. I met. Well, it's funny because that night I didn't meet Conway. You know, I remember that was Iman Nunez, and you know, what I mean, we did like a song or two together, and that shit was fire, man. And you know, then a year later, my boy Paco was like doing his food special, and he has Conway, and then we chopping it up and just like dude, I dropped out with plain Pat, and he's like, oh word, and you know what I mean, and you know, we had our moment and shit, and feel me, but that's how all that goes, bro. You know what I mean? Nothing's linear in this shit, bro. It's different legs that it's compounds, and you know, it figures itself out.
And you and Sko actually went on a tour. That's the next goal. People want to go to different cities.
Yeah, bro. You want to get out of New York, man.
How did you guys know it was time that could actually be something that you actually can bring people to? Yeah. And then how was it?
I mean, it was great, bro. I mean, you know, Sko really, me and Sko, that's my brothers, you know, was one of my best friends, you know what I mean? Love that guy with all my heart. And, you know, him and his team reached out, and I was just like, whatever. And funny, it was something that started off as like, yo, we not even sure we could like, we gonna see if like, you know, they had like something else planned out, and Skull was being my bro, you know what I mean? He was like, yo, bro, you just, feel me, come through, and like, feel me, I'm gonna take care of you, I'm gonna get you right, feel me? And then it actually turned into like official tour support, and I was like, oh, and I mean, Skull and his team, they knew for what they knew, you know, even me seeing like the motion and everything, I was like, oh yeah, it's time, like, bro, it's time, you know what I mean? Bro's gotta like clear out, you know, a couple cities and like really, you know, stomp through the land. And, you know, for him to ask me, again, we're the only two rappers from Washington Heights to ever pop out with full rap careers. You know what I mean? Like that's not dated in history at all, nowhere. You know what I mean? So it's and trust me, when my time comes and now it's my headline, bro's coming with me. You know what I mean? Any of these tours, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think just the nature of shit, bro. When shit's just going, you know what I mean? You just know.
Yeah. And when you're actually performing these songs in real life and you're going to different people, has that changed how you make music?
Hell fucking yeah. I think not even like something I'm thinking of. It's just natural. I'm just like, fuck. Like,
so I know Kanye said like when he made Graduation, he said, I want to make music for stadiums. Like he must have seen something. He's like, I want to make it more grand.
I mean, playing like some of my top songs on like Spotify right now and seeing the reaction in real life and people knowing the songs and the crowd. And, like, come up and be like, bro, it's my favorite song. Like, of course, bro, I'm coming back to the studio. Like, we're doing more of that. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's nothing to overthink. You know, you just know when you know.
Yeah. And I grew up watching, I'm sure you did too, watching like tour vlogs. Like,
all the time.
I was like binging. There was like Logic ones and J. Cole ones.
I used to binge like all the Joy Badass like, tour joints and shit. And
so sometimes, I mean, they didn't like glamorize it, but obviously you're seeing like the best moments. But what's it actually like being on tour in terms of, you know, taking that van, probably eating McDonald's a lot and going save the city?
Bro. Well, yeah, we ate like shit, bro. We ate, actually, no, fuck that. We ate really well. Like, bro, we ate really well. I'm not going to front. And bro just like took care of all of us every tour stop. Like, bro, Skull's a fucking legend, bro. Like, I swear to God, like, bro.
That man's voice. Some people are born with that voice. Bro, like
he's an old soul. That is not a 21-year-old man.
He's 21?
Yes.
Sheesh. I thought you guys were, I assumed same age.
I'm 26, about to be 27. And that nigga is straight up a young bull, but he is wise. That's Lil Big Bro. That's like Lil Big Bro. I always say all the time, that ass Lil Big Bro. Like, that's hilarious. He's wise beyond his years. And I mean, you know what I mean, bro? You tell me some stops you gonna have 7-Eleven, some stops you gonna try and eat like some good steak and like steak and frites or whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's you know, you gotta balance it. You know, you gotta work out and shit, all that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I actually wrote this question, then I saw you literally tweeted about it today. But because we're talking about like the business aspect of music and that you're running this like a business.
Yeah.
What is your favorite non-business or non-music part of like this career path that you've chosen? That's what you tweeted. Bro, what does that mean to you?
I mean, because tech has always been a bridge in between kind of anything in the entertainment industry. Yeah. Whether it's movies, you know, it's music, fashion, etc. And I think for me, someone I've worked with tech apps and stuff, you know, for so long, you know what I mean? Like, bro, I was one of the first guys like Annabelle reached out to, you know, when she was like, you know what I mean, hit up by Untitled and was just like, yo.
Shout Untitled.
Yo, you know what I mean? You know, like they was hitting me up, you know what I mean? You know, and like, it was hitting her up and like she hit me up and I was, you know, interfacing, testing the app. You know, my boy Sam, who runs Off Top, you know what I mean? Like for me, yo, me and bro did like a super cool collaborative, you know, thing on Instagram and made a cool post. You know, he did like, you know, a highlight thing and, you know what I mean? You know, seeing him on what he's doing and there's other ventures, you know, I'm trying out, but like, you know what I mean? I think for me, it's just at the end of the day, bro, it's being at the forefront of the landscape of where this shit moves. You know, at one point I used to mint NFTs and I used to throw old songs on the blockchain for like what, 1 ETH and just making like
that's one thing I haven't understood yet is blockchain.
It's just really, bro. I mean, in a nutshell, it's really just understanding there's no middleman and it's an infinite dated system of, you know, data that no one but you and community can tap into. And I think, you know, as mystical or, you know, abstract that sounds, it's real, you know. And bro, motherfuckers was like selling tweets. If I was selling tweets for like fucking $8, I was selling Lucy's for like $400. You know what I mean? Platforms like Sound XYZ, you know, Catalog, you know, stuff like that. Super Rare, you know what I mean? Remember homie Latasha Alcindor, she created one of the craziest moments I ever saw. She raised the whole standard like record deal in one summer.
Really?
Just selling, you know, minting videos, you know, having
people, including myself, doubt how much people are willing to invest and pay for yourself, because my brothers always preach that to me.
I mean, consumer, it's direct to consumer base, bro. And if you, that's why, I mean, bro, J. Cole fucking,
that's the talk about it.
With the fall off, selling a fucking freestyle.
$1 is the perfect, just cheap amount of that you're like, you know what, I won't like just wait for the YouTube, I'll pay for it.
People done the physical activations too. Dollar in a Dream Tour, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's also,
he's always been like so smart with how he goes about it.
But that's because he's another individual that outside the music directly understands the commerce and, you know, the correlation of what, you know, the business build and the standard of it needs to look like. And I think we're just now moving more into, like I said, something more decentralized, and it's like no middleman. That's why motherfuckers is like really figuring shit out. Like,
I mean, like, I know Matt Comey does that with a lot of his tapes. I know
he does the physical.
Black
you know,
Star, Most Def, and Talib, they did that.
June, you know what I mean? Like with the physicals, all that, bro. Like that's it's just, and those are just forms of it. You know, there's a whole landscape, and I think now it's starting to take shape, and you know, in the next couple of years, we'll really start to see its, you know, impact.
Yeah. So tell me about, you know, James Burns, and you're going to this. You're going to the studio.
Burns. Oh man, Burns is my boy.
He makes this setup between you and one of the greatest producers of all time.
Facts.
Shout Plain Pat.
Plain Pat, what up, man? Yo, yeah.
Let's find the prayer, Plain Pat. I love you for making the prayer.
Yo, thank you, Pat. Yeah, nah. I mean, I want to go again. You know, shout out my boy Plain Pat, man, and my boy James Burns. Yeah. I met James. You know, it's this producer camp. You know what I mean, called Camp Audio. You know what I mean.
Sick.
And you know, him and my boys. You know what I mean. Like we was, you know what I mean. We was just getting it over in Dr. Genius's studio in brewery, and you know what I mean. We'd have all these sessions, and the thing was, like, me and Burns would always be like, yo, bro, like, let's work on some shit. And that summer we worked on shit, and you know, that was like 2021, 2022, I think.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah. Feel me? Because I mean, you know, me and Burns, we was working on that joint, man. And then, you know, a year later, I was like, yo, like, it's time to put this shit out.
Yeah.
And when that shit caught traction, you know, and it wasn't even off that song. It was off.
Bang?
It was off Bang. Yeah, it was off Bang. And that's when my manager now, Real, who, you know, always worked aside Dr. Genius, and, you know, having a, you know, back end, you know, with Cudi, and, you know, and working along with Plain Pat and just so many prolific artists, you know, they reached out to him, and then Real was like, I know the guy who's interning at that studio who works with that artist. And then March 27, 2024, I'll never forget, that's when me and Plain Pat first met over in that A room. Shout out, what's bro's name? Damn, I forget his name, but shout out to bro that owns.
Bro, you're great.
Brewery. Yeah.
So
Andrew, yes, shout out Andrew.
Shout out Andrew. When you're working with someone of that prestige, and like, you're a producer, you're a rapper, you know your shit already.
Yeah.
What has he taught you that you've put into the music? Whether it's like structuring a song, whether it's like a way to use your voice, what are the keys that Plain Pat put you onto?
I'll share one. It was approach and being very intentional with that, making sure every bar connects.
Yeah,
literally connects. A lot of my sessions with Pat and in between with other artists like Stoic and guys like Cudi and more, even Powers Pleasant, a lot of those songs was like reps, and then you get to a point where it's like, all right, we're shipping this shit. We're sending this shit to print now. You know what I mean? And yeah, with Pat, everything was intention. Every second, even the rollout, even inputs on, you know, the corporate with the rollout, everything was intention. You know, Pat's a, you know, back end history, also working in management as well. So it's like, you know, and as well as an A&R. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think all that and how he's shaped and creative is the reason why people have him on a very high end of respect, and why he's really seen with such miracle, with such a gift. You know what I mean? It's so timeless. Just got that ear, bro. Got that fucking ear. Got that ear. He really taught me how to like really listen to that ear and sharpen it in a way where it's like you just know where to not miss. You know what I mean?
Because what I enjoy, like, because there's so many. How do I say this? There's so many singers out there that are good singers, but not everyone is like that next level. You know what I mean? Some voices are meant for it. And like, there's a lot of great rappers out there, but like songs get boring when they're just like straight raps. And what I appreciate about your music is the ear candy on top of the lyricism.
Yeah.
That keeps you coming back. Is that something that you've always had in your head, or is that something that Plain Pat put you onto?
I think working along with Pat, you know, and like guys like Stoic, you know what I mean? These would be like the first guys that would tell me, along like some of like my friends and stuff, would be like, yo, what the fuck is you saying, bro? Like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, what the fuck? Like
I love a good 4-minute Black Thought song. Like, I'll rap along to it, but not like, you know, the whole album can't just. We need choruses.
And don't get me wrong, Black Thought is someone who's mastered being able to go off for 4 to 6 minutes, and it's like it's making clarity, sense, every single fucking word.
It's crazy. He's a song, Ninth Verse Thought with.
Bro, you know what I mean? Come on, bro. Like it connects, and I think records like that and moments with Pat, you know, in that way, being direct and straight up, you know, it definitely helped me shape myself into more of just like more just clarity, you
Yeah.
know, more intention, and that comes with structure, that comes with, you know, the beat, you know, the way you putting the rhymes together, all that, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shout out Plain Pat. Plain
Was
Pat,
it
what up?
was it a situation of like we've just made 10 songs, like should we drop this, or was it a whole time like we're making a project?
Oh, I mean,
right
off
now?
the rip, I bodied like 4 records in our first session. And I remember, like, my boy Ro, he was like, album? And Pat was like, like, oh, well, see.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? But we all knew we was locked in from that very day. You know what I mean? And it just formed how it formed, you know what I mean? It happened how it happened, you know, session after session. And then we realized it's something serious. And, I mean, for me, it was a career. It was, like, life-changing because now I'm being brought around these legends like hip-hop, you know what I mean? You know, being brought around legends like LV, Sean C, you know what I mean? Now it's like I'm really attracting a whole new portal in this. And it was a whole new circuit, man. And, you know, all that was in this intention that you know what I mean? He is one of the ones, you know, and to be there with Pat and, you know, still rocking my boy, you know what I mean? Like,
and like having an album where it's the one producer, one rapper, like that's came back in the last 5 years, whether it's like Alk or Madlib coming.
Hell yeah. I think that shit is fire, bro. You know what I mean? Artists, I think we needed that, you know what I mean? Because it really brought back like creativity and like music in a way where motherfuckers is like, we want that real shit.
Yeah, like I mean, you listen to Alfredo and it has like,
right. And I'm not saying that real
vibe.
Shit ain't here, but you know, the real ones, you know.
Yeah, no, I know you mean. So like that first session, you're making 4 songs. Was it like a Dr. Dre M thing where like you laid it down and like he's like, oh.
I think it was more of like to get a little granular into it. Yeah, it was more, you know, he was kind of like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, flows is fire. Yeah. Shit he's saying is dope. You know
did any of those 4 songs make the album?
Only, the first song we worked on that then set the sprint for everything, Overthinking.
Yeah.
Overthinking was I fully freestyled that song. Like, that's the second verse I wrote by hand, but everything was like off the top. Like, yo, all right, pause. Let me think. All right, go. Yeah. All right, pause. Punch me in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think Pat was really impressed by like my agility and endurance to like, you know, keep up and also adjust to like feedback off, you know, things we did in that first session.
I'm gonna get your rap nerd perspective on this because I tweeted about this. Not to bring up Cole for like a 4th time. Sorry, because I'm a Cole stan. So he was talking about, there's like that podcast clip that came out the other week that was leaked, and he was talking about how that new song he dropped took him like multiple days to write, and he really got into like the challenge of the rhyme scheme and like So, and I tweeted in response to that. I feel like a lot of times rappers do brag about how fast they write songs.
No, it's a thing.
What moments lead you to write 4 songs, being able to do back to back, and what are the moments where it might be a year of writing a certain song?
Well, for question A, it's the electricity, that feeling, bro, when it's fucking charging through you. Because at the end of the day, we channeling like a higher source here, man. Like this ain't for fucking play, son. Like this ain't no like kitty nat whack works. Like we're not here, you know, on some flagrant shit. Like this shit real life mode. Like for me, niggas don't play with this shit for me. So it's like, you know, you have those moments where it's you feeling it and like that shit is just channeling. So that's everything you're holding accountable, right? And that might not be what you're thinking in the moment, but you know when it's all said and done, you someone gonna want to be on the top rank. So it's like at the end of the day, that comes down to the craft, you know, and the skill, and when it's readable in that moment, it's like where anyone, you know, from a singer to, you know, someone might make you know beats all day or you know what I mean. I feel like that's what that be. And then I think compared to like your second question, if it takes a hot minute, I think it's the same standard. But it's just a different process. Yeah. Like there's something I'm following the feeling, and it's not coming as electric and fast. But when it does, its impact is like whoa, word, and it's like this like conscious effort, you know, to be like I want to let this come to me rather than like channel the energy right now like how I normally could do. You know, there's input. They work in either way. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You know, basketball players got their classic moves. You know, James Harden's got this step back. You know, Dirk's got that fadeaway shot.
Facts.
What is the thing in your toolkit, like that one skill set that you think you really have? Like, I'll give you an example. Something I've noticed about Jid. Like, he has like this ability to stutter on beat. Yeah. That he can go like did and get into it. Yeah. And I'm like, that's like a weird, unique thing that like he's really good at and he uses in his music. Is there anything like that for you?
Yeah. Like I'd be like, I don't know. For me, it's like I feel like, you know, a lot of like this, you know, the homies, you know, people that listen to my music could probably hear this, but I'm really good when it comes to like there's certain bars like I'll put right, and then like I won't connect it to like like 3 or like 4 bars later.
Yeah.
And like it'll just like the way I do it is very unorthodox, and I think now it's like way more straightforward. But I think like that's just like something people have told me. You know what I mean? They're like,
yeah.
oh, or you know, for me it's just like, you know, super catchy hooks, just catchy,
for sure.
like good, like it almost feels like
the Stoic album's got so many fucking ones of those.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That's just me and bro just knowing like, yo, you got that. Let's hone into that.
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
I like hearing that in relation to that first skill set you had. I think it's interesting hearing like how rappers, the things they take most pride in their ability.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're fucking killing it with that.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man. Yeah, and I mean, you know, skill. We you know, the craft make everything better.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll listen to like, so my boy Drew Kelly will like send me a song, and he'll have a certain bar where I can tell right away that was the first bar you thought of, but you put it 4 lines later and you connected the first 3 lines back to it because it's such a good specific bar. I'm like, there's no way that came as the 4th line you thought of.
Yeah, certain rappers really be doing that, bro. You know what I mean? A lot of my favorite rappers, you know, Lupe, you know what I mean? You know, Common, like, you know what I mean? Like, Jay Electronica, like, you know, it's just, you know, it's an orthodox style. You know, it's not even like a certain style of rap. It's just like, it just be happening, you know what I mean? That shit's fire.
Because sometimes it's such a good line, but it's not an opening line to a statement. So you're like, I know I have to get to point C, but A and B still need to.
And the
like,
way
get
it connects to is it's sometimes like it could come off as like a lyrical scramble thing or something. Yeah. You know, but again, it's also about, like I said, intentionality. If you're gonna do that, like you know, just make it make sense. You know what I mean?
And I just saw this other day. So you met A$AP Rocky, and he knew who you were.
Yo,
what? Pretty Flacco. Which, first off, that album, first listen, I was like, cool. Second listen, I'm like, this is amazing. Third listen, I feel like the coolest, prettiest person in New York City.
Yeah, no. I really like that album. Flacco did his thing, bro.
What was that like hearing from another GOAT like that, like being aware?
Well, I want to shout out my boy A$AP Ills, and even the bros like 12, you know, that been showing, you know what I mean, you know, just that camp, the people in that camp been showing guys like myself, you know, love, and Sko, and you know, Fergie, and you know, the bros uptown for real. I remember when the album dropped, you know, Ills, you know what I mean, he was someone I was, you know, playing the tape for, you know, for a minute, and you know, he would give me like suggestions on like, you know, like, oh, I think this track will go there, that track will go there, you know what I mean? It was just like my, you know, it's just like my bro, just like, you know what I mean, just like giving his own creative, you know, suggestion, you know what I mean? And I'd be like, all right, well, you know, I feel me, on top of me and playing Pat really being in the studio and stuff, and I remember Ills came over to the Nightclub 101 show, for me, show love, throws up a post showing love to me and Pat, which, once again, thank you so much, bro, you know what I mean? And Rocky just comments fire emoji, and I was just like, huh?
Crazy.
Like, I literally sent that, like...
He's also, like, not a social media guy.
Yeah, like, I'm not expecting this guy's on Instagram. Like, bro, you got, like, 3 kids now, you know what I mean? Like, a whole wife, you know? Like, you probably real busy to be on socials, but that was fire, you know what I mean? And then... when I was at the A$AP Yams, you know, they had like a small, you know, like gathering over at the Victoria Theater in over in Harlem, Ills brought me, and you know, after, you know, the Amazon, you know, live thing he did, you know, we over there, we in the bar, I think this was like the main gathering room, and you know, everybody's having their drinks, you know, A$AP's doing his thing, pictures, whatever. And, you know, like, I'm seeing Rihanna, like, you know, walking around everywhere. They accidentally bumped into her. I was like, mad funny. She was like, oh, my bad. I was like, oh, my bad. I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
When you see her, is there like an aura around her where you're like, she's she's a different level
bro.
of fame.
She's that's a fucking, like, bro, it's that queen goddess energy, bro. Like, it's different. But at the end of the day, you gotta remember, these people's humans. They got hearts, minds like us, you know what I mean? And then, you know, I mean, it was real simple. I was by the bar, and then, you know, A$AP was just there, and I was like, yo, what's good, man? Like, you know, great job on the album. Like, feel me, I'm from the Heights. You know, I'm Thom, and you know what I mean. I got this joint. You know, with playing Pat. I saw you show love, and he was like, oh yeah, you Ills, man. And then he was calling Ills over. He was like, yo, ain't this your boy? You know, with that project.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, Thom.
That's crazy.
Playing Pat for a year, and I was just like, I was losing. He was like, yo, you fucking with my man. You know what I mean? Ills, you know what I mean? It's my boy. And like, it was just love, bro. It was love. You know what I mean? Without oversharing, like, it was love, man. It was love, man. It was love. You know what I mean? I got my, you know what I mean? I got my mocktail, feel me? You know what I mean? You know, it's been a dry January, and
I saw that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, nah, I mean, whew, it's be getting the scratches. But not joking. But it was beautiful, bro. I think stuff like that is. I remember I went home and I was buzzed. I was stunned that whole night. I was just like in my rooms, I was in the dark, just like, yo, just gotta keep going. I just gotta keep going. Like, you know what I mean? That was the narrative. But yeah, yo,
it's
shout
fucking
out,
crazy.
Shout out ASAP, man.
I'll meet you with. So because you work with Plain Pat, Blog Era legend.
Oh, okay.
And you grew up at that time. What were the top Blog Era albums that were spinning for you on the DatPiff?
Oh fuck, bro. Man, that I can't remember, but the Soul Tapes by Fab.
Okay, yeah.
Definitely. Pro Era. The
1999.
Peep the Apocalypse tape. Flatbush Zombies. I forgot.
I still zippers with it.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yep. I forgot which album it was. Definitely, ASAP Rocky's. What was that album? The one.
Long Live ASAP.
The one that came after. Where he was like
the one with like every day I
like
take
LSD
my time. Yeah.
That joint was crazy. And then definitely I was bumping for surely. That what tape this was? I'd say hold up, I gotta look it up before I get a little bit. Hold up.
Man, I was always playing A Kid Named Cudi.
Oh, A Kid Named Cudi, classic.
For sure. Friday Night Lights.
Oh, Friday Night Lights.
I loved the like the Young Sinatra mixtapes were always there. Acid Rap, I was huge on Chance when I was in middle school.
Yeah. The young Blue Chips, you know what I mean?
Bronson.
Bronson, that whole
crazy.
Entire, you know what I mean, that whole entire, thing. Shit, man. But I was also like, I was really like in tune with a lot of the East Coast dudes doing their thing, and then when I was discovering guys like Vic Mensa and
for sure,
you know what I mean, dudes like Hobson, you know what I mean,
yeah. I think everyone goes through like an Eminem stage at one point. It's usually like your introduction to hip hop because you're like, how do they make words like rhyme like this?
Facts.
And you go through that era, you're bumping Token, like all those guys.
I remember Token was start doing this thing, all those guys. But no, in terms of Mount Rushmore hip hop, like now we were speaking like everybody. All right, definitely Hove. We're talking about people alive still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hove. Put Smoke Diz up there. Put you know what I mean? Put Rome up there. Put myself. Put Skull.
There was a Rome and
and definitely put Fergie Baby up there.
I have to tap in the Fergie Baby.
Yeah, he's dope, man. I love
what he's
doing. That's my guy.
Well, bro, I appreciate you from coming up in here.
Thank you.
In the apartment setup.
Yeah.
I want to give you a spot to shout out where people can find you, what you got coming.
Yeah, man. Yo, it's LifeofThom, LifeofThom with the H. All platforms, everywhere. We got a new song out next Wednesday with Coda the Friend and CJ Fly, and then we got another joint out on the 19th. February 19th with Super Mario, one of my favorite producers from Georgia, man. Yeah, you know what I mean? If y'all familiar, he got work out, with Drake, Uzi, Thug, you know what I mean? Just to name a few. And, you know what I mean? Super great producer. I wish I can't say everything, but we got some fire for the rest of the year. Every month we dropping. Every month. Let's go.
There we go. If you made it to the end of the podcast, I love you. God bless you.
God bless you.
My name is Adam-DASH_ on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Sound Centric Music, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, I don't know, LinkedIn. I think I'm on LinkedIn. We got episodes out with Gabe P.
Shout out Gabe.
We got episode with I Breathe Music all day, RJ.
Yeah,
we got episode, by the time this drops, Don Chen's. We're going to be going over the J. Cole.
Boy.
We're recording the day of the J. Cole coming out, which will be fire. So we're going to get some day one reactions to that album.
I love that.
But we shall see you next time. Peace.
Fuck yeah.
That's fire, bro.
I'm in. Hell yeah.